Okay, so have you ever felt like some people just have it? Like that magnetic charisma that just draws others in?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Well, get ready because today we're going to unlock that power for yourself.
Awesome.
We are diving deep into How to Talk to Anyone by Leil Lowndes.
Love it.
This book is like a playbook for mastering those subtle signals and strategies that transform how people see you and how you connect with the world.
Yeah, it really is.
As we were prepping for this deep dive, I was fascinated by how Lowndes uses psychology, sociology, and even animal behavior to create this roadmap to better communication.
It's pretty cool.
What was your aha moment?
You know, honestly, it was realizing how much emphasis Lowndes puts on those first few seconds of an interaction.
Oh, interesting.
Those first impressions are just so powerful. They set the entire tone for a relationship.
It's like she says in the book, a holograph is formed in the other person's mind, almost like an instant caricature that captures not just looks, but personality.
Right.
She even has this great anecdote about her friend Bob Grossman, who's a professional caricature artist.
I love her anecdotes.
Me too. They're so good.
Yeah.
He told her the secret to drawing someone with that undeniable aura of importance.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about posture, a heads-up look, a genuine smile, and that direct eye contact like you're seeing right through them.
Totally.
It's the foundation for everything that follows.
It really is. It's like creating this aura of confidence before you even speak.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is Lowndes provides specific techniques to achieve that.
Oh, yeah.
Like the hang by your teeth technique, for example.
Oh, I love this one.
It might sound strange, but...
Yeah, visualizing that imaginary bit hanging above every doorway and tilting your head back to bite it as you walk through.
Exactly.
It feels odd at first, but it forces you into that somebody posture, shoulders back, head high, leading with a smile.
And it plays into something deeper, too. Research shows that good posture actually boosts your confidence.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So it's not just about appearances.
Well,
now, posture is just one piece of the puzzle.
right.
Lowndes also goes deep on the power of eye contact, particularly what she calls sticky eyes.
That one really stood out to me. It's about holding someone's gaze just a bit longer than usual, but in a way that makes them feel captivating, like they're the only person who matters in that moment.
Oh, that's good.
And there's a physiological reason why this works.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
It triggers a release of phenylethylamine, a chemical associated with attraction.
That makes total sense.
Right?
No wonder those sticky eyes can create such a strong sense of connection.
Totally.
But she takes it even further with epoxy eyes, right?
Yes, epoxy eyes are like sticky eyes on steroids.
Oh, wow.
It's that intense, unwavering gaze that can really make an impact, but you have to use it strategically.
So when would you use that?
Imagine like a police detective locking eyes with a suspect or someone trying to make a deep romantic connection.
Oh, yeah.
Lowndes says it can be incredibly powerful, but potentially overwhelming if not used carefully.
You definitely don't want to creep anyone out.
No, you don't.
Now, alongside those visual cues, there's another technique for nailing that first impression that I absolutely love, the hello old friend technique.
Oh, it's a good one.
Have you tried this one out in the wild?
I have, and it's remarkable how it shifts your entire energy.
Yeah.
The idea is to approach someone new as if they're a dear friend you're delighted to be reunited with.
I love that.
Your subconscious doesn't know it's not real, so your smile becomes warmer, your body language opens up, and you genuinely radiate that sense of connection.
And people respond to that.
They do.
I've noticed that when I use this technique, conversations flow more easily and there's this instant rapport.
Totally.
It's like you're skipping the small talk and jumping right into that warm, familiar zone.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about projecting confidence and making a killer first impression.
Right.
But what about the dreaded small talk? Lowndes has some surprising strategies for turning those potentially awkward moments into genuine connection points.
She does. It's all about reframing it.
Yeah.
Lowndes reframes small talk as a way to establish common ground and make people feel comfortable.
Oh, I like that.
One technique that really resonates is prosaic with passion.
Prosaic with passion. It sounds like a contradiction.
I know, right?
Tell me more.
It's about injecting genuine enthusiasm and interest into even the most mundane topics.
Okay.
So think about it. You can talk about the weather with someone and make them feel like you're genuinely interested in their experience of it.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's about matching their energy level and making them feel heard.
Lowndes shares a great story from Samuel Icawa to illustrate this.
Oh, yeah.
He was a college president and U.S. senator, a brilliant linguist.
Wow.
During World War II, he found himself on a train sitting next to a couple who were clearly uncomfortable with him, possibly because of his Japanese ancestry.
Oh, wow. Talk about a tense situation.
Right. But Icawa started chatting about the weather and how tough travel must be with a small child, especially in winter.
Oh.
And just by engaging in that simple prosaic conversation, he was able to diffuse the tension and connect on a human level.
It highlights how even seemingly trivial topics can be a bridge to connection.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world where we're bombarded with information and often quick to judge. Those moments of genuine small talk can be incredibly powerful.
Okay, so we have prosaic with passion.
Mm-hmm.
What other small talk gems does Lowndes offer?
Well, have you ever been asked, where are you from? And just blurted out your city, leaving the conversation dead in the water?
Oh, all the time. It's such an awkward conversation killer.
That's where the never the naked city technique comes in.
Okay.
Instead of just stating your location, offer a little something extra, an interesting fact, a historical tidbit, anything that sparks curiosity and gives the other person something to latch onto.
So it's like you're offering a conversational hook instead of a dead end.
Exactly. For example, instead of just saying Chicago, you could mention that it has the largest collection of stained glass windows in the world, or that it's home to the first skyscraper.
And it instantly makes you seem more interesting.
Yes.
And gives the other person an easy way to keep the conversation going.
Now, speaking of conversation starters, Lowndes also suggests the what's it technique.
What's it? Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
It's deceptively simple. Wear or carry something unique, a piece of jewelry, a cool hat, a book with an eye-catching title, anything that serves as a visual conversation starter.
Oh, it's like a built-in icebreaker.
Exactly.
It takes the pressure off having to come up with something clever to say.
Right.
People will naturally ask you about it, and boom, you're off to the races.
Exactly, and it makes you memorable, too.
I'm starting to think I need to raid my closet and find my most conversation-worthy accessories.
I love it.
Okay, we've got techniques for starting conversations.
Yep.
But what about those times when you're feeling stuck?
Lowndes has a strategy for that, too. It's called the parroting technique.
Parroting. Does that mean I should start mimicking people's voices?
Not quite. It's much more subtle when the conversation stalls. Simply repeat the last few words your partner said, but with an inquisitive tone.
So if someone says, it's been a really busy week, I might say busy week.
Exactly. It gently prompts them to elaborate and keeps the conversation flowing without you having to come up with something brilliant on the spot.
Oh.
And because you're using their words, it makes them feel heard and understood.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant way to avoid those awkward silences.
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding that to my communication toolkit.
Me too.
Okay, so we've got some solid strategies for initiating conversations and keeping them flowing, but what about taking things to the next level?
Yeah.
Lowndes dives into some more advanced communication techniques that can really make you stand out from the crowd.
She does. She emphasizes the importance of staying informed, what she calls the latest news technique.
Latest news. That sounds like something we should all be doing anyway.
Yeah.
But how does it help with communication?
It gives you a wealth of conversation fodder. Instead of drawing a blank when someone asks, what's new with you? You can share a thought-provoking article you read or an interesting take on current events.
It shows that you're engaged with the world and you're not just stuck in your own little bubble.
And it can spark fascinating discussions. Instead of just talking about the weather, you can connect current events to other topics that might be of interest to your conversation partner.
It's making me realize that I need to dust off my news app and get back into the habit of staying informed.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, so we have latest news. What other communication power moves does Lowndes have up her sleeve?
She tackles the dreaded what do you do question with her nutshell resume technique.
Oh, that's a question I always struggle with.
I know, me too.
It can feel so awkward to sum up your entire career in a few sentences.
Right, and you don't want to bore people with details they don't care about.
No.
Lowndes suggests having a few different nutshell resumes ready,
Oh.
each tailored to the interests of the person you're talking to.
Oh, that's smart.
So instead of just listing your job title, you highlight aspects of your work that might be relevant to them.
So if you're talking to a small business owner, you might focus on your experience in marketing or finance.
Exactly.
But if you're talking to an artist, you might emphasize your creative process or design skills.
It's about making your work sound interesting and relevant to the other person, rather than just rattling off a job description.
Now, beyond crafting your message,
Yeah.
Lowndes dives into the power of language itself.
Yeah.
She highlights the simple but profound impact of using the word you.
It's so true.
When someone focuses on you in a conversation, It instantly makes you feel seen and heard.
It really does.
She calls it the communication technique.
I love that.
It's about shifting the focus from yourself to the other person, making them feel like the center of attention.
And that can be incredibly disarming, especially in a world where we're often so focused on ourselves.
Okay, communication, check. What other linguistic Jedi mind tricks does Lowndes reveal?
Well, she introduces a rather bold technique called premature we.
Premature we. Okay, I'm definitely going to need you to unpack that one.
Okay, so think about how powerful the word we is.
It's very powerful.
It creates a sense of unity, belonging, shared purpose.
Mm.
Lowndes suggests incorporating words like we, us, and our, even in initial conversations, as a way to subtly suggest that you're already on the same team.
It's like you're fast-forwarding the relationship.
Yeah.
Bypassing that initial awkwardness and jumping straight to that comfortable, we're in this together vibe.
Now, it might feel a bit forward at first.
Yeah.
But Lowndes argues it can be incredibly effective in breaking down barriers and creating a sense of instant rapport.
It's definitely a technique I'm going to try out.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of building rapport, Lowndes has a unique approach to giving compliments that I found incredibly intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
She calls it the grapevine technique.
Grapevine. Like gossip.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of praising someone directly,
Yeah.
you tell a mutual friend how impressed you are by them. It's like you're sending a compliment through a messenger.
Ah, so it's less about the content of the compliment and more about how it's delivered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it comes from a third party, it carries more weight and feels more genuine.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine how much better it feels to hear, hey, so-and-so is telling me how much they admire your work ethic, than to hear it directly from the person themselves.
That's true.
It feels less like flattery and more like a genuine acknowledgement of your strengths.
And it avoids that awkward feeling of, is this person just trying to butter me up?
Exactly. It's a clever way to make your compliments land with more impact.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from first impressions to small talk strategies to advanced communication techniques.
It's true.
Lowndes really does provide a comprehensive toolkit for connecting with anyone.
This book is like a master class in the art of human interaction.
Yeah.
But she doesn't just offer theory. She provides actionable techniques that you can start using immediately.
Right.
What stood out to you as the most valuable takeaway from this deep dive so far?
For me, it's the reminder that mastering communication is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
By paying attention to the nuances of how we interact, from those crucial first impressions to the language we use and the way we listen, we can constantly refine our skills and build stronger connections.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not about being perfect,
No.
but about being mindful and intentional in our interactions.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so empowering. We all have the ability to improve our communication skills and create more positive and fulfilling relationships.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's very encouraging.
Absolutely. So, we've been focusing a lot on verbal communication.
Right.
But Lowndes dedicates a whole section to the power of nonverbal cues. And she starts with something we all do, smiling.
Smiling. I feel like that's pretty basic. What's so special about smiling?
You'd be surprised. Lowndes argues there's a world of difference between like a generic smile and one that truly connects.
Oh.
Think about it. The way you smile at a close friend is different from how you smile at a stranger, right?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Lowndes suggests being mindful of those subtle variations and using them strategically.
What?
Save your warmest, most genuine smiles for those you genuinely want to connect with.
So it's like a secret signal that says, I'm really happy to meet you.
Exactly. It's about authenticity. And that can make a huge difference in how people perceive you.
That makes sense.
Beyond smiling, Lowndes delves into the techniques used by professional speakers, those folks who command a room and leave everyone feeling energized.
Oh, like those motivational speakers who have the audience hanging on their every word.
Exactly. One technique she highlights is potent imaging, using vivid language and imagery that paints a picture in the listener's mind.
So it's about creating an experience for the listener, not just conveying information.
Right. And then there's echoing, which is about subtly mirroring your conversation partner's language and body language.
Oh, interesting.
It creates a sense of rapport and makes them feel like you truly understand them.
Lowndes shares a great story about Barry Farber, a motivational speaker known for his incredible ability to connect with audiences.
She actually shadowed him for a while to learn his secrets.
I know, that's a great part of the book.
Yeah.
He had these signature phrases like, my daddy's Mr. Farber, call me Barry.
It instantly breaks down barriers and creates a sense of familiarity.
And Lowndes discovered that Farber had a whole collection of these phrases and stories carefully curated to resonate with different audiences.
That's so smart.
It's like having a toolkit of communication technique.
Exactly, and that's what Lowndes encourages us to do, to develop our own toolkit.
Yeah.
Drawing from these techniques and adapting them to our unique personalities and situations.
Okay, I like that a lot. Now, we've talked about using our own bodies effectively.
Right.
But Lowndes also stresses the importance of paying attention to other people's nonverbal cues.
Yes.
She calls it eyeball selling.
That sounds a bit intense.
It's about becoming a master of reading body language, like a detective looking for clues to understand what someone is really thinking or feeling.
So it's about picking up on those subtle signals we all send, even if we're not aware of them.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Lowndes points out that we're constantly sending and receiving these nonverbal messages, and she argues that by becoming more attuned to them,
Yeah,
we can tailor our communication to be much more effective.
that's cool.
For example, she talks about paying attention to head position.
Okay.
A tilted head can signal engagement,
Uh-huh.
while a turned-away head might mean disinterest or discomfort.
And what about hand gestures?
Open palms usually suggest openness and honesty,
Right.
while clenched fists can indicate anger or frustration.
It's like learning a whole secret language.
He really is.
And by deciphering that language, we can avoid misinterpretations and connect on a deeper level.
Okay, so we've got first impressions, small talk, advanced techniques, and now body language.
Right.
It's like Lowndes has given us this incredible blueprint for becoming master communicators.
She really has. But she doesn't stop there. She delves into the art of building those lasting relationships, personal and professional.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. One technique that really stood out was the tombstone game. It sounds a bit morbid, but
I know, right? Imagine you're chatting with someone and you casually bring up tombstones, what people imagine would be inscribed on theirs.
a bit dark for casual conversation maybe.
Right.
But Lowndes uses it to uncover someone's deepest values, what they truly want to be remembered for.
Oh.
You file that information away, and later when the moment is right, you use it to give them a truly meaningful compliment.
So instead of a generic, "You're a great friend," you might say, "You're someone who always brings joy to others," or "You really make a difference in the world."
Exactly. It's like speaking directly to their soul.
Wow.
And that kind of genuine recognition creates a powerful connection.
Now, alongside those grand gestures, Lowndes also emphasizes the power of those little things, what she calls tracking.
Tracking. Sounds a bit like stalking.
It's not that extreme. Tracking is about remembering and referencing small details from previous conversations.
Good.
Their favorite food, upcoming travel plans, even a funny anecdote they shared. Those things that show you were truly listening.
It's like saying, I value what you have to say, without actually saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't require a photographic memory. Just make a mental note of things that matter to them.
It's amazing how such a simple gesture can make someone feel seen and appreciated.
Yeah.
Speaking of feeling appreciated, how about tackling the often dreaded phone call?
Oh, yeah.
Lowndes has some tips for making those interactions less awkward and more impactful.
I'm all ears. I think we could all use some help in that department.
She acknowledges that phone calls are tricky
Yeah.
because we're missing all those visual cues.
Right.
It's like communicating with one hand tied behind your back.
So how do we compensate for that lack of visual information?
Lowndes suggests amping up your vocal tone and energy.
Oh, okay.
You want to sound genuinely interested, even enthusiastic, to make up for the lack of facial expressions.
It's like turning up the volume on your personality.
Exactly. She also has this great tip called, I hear your other line.
I hear your other line. Okay, I'm curious.
Imagine you're on the phone and you hear a dog barking or a baby crying in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of ignoring it, acknowledge it. Say something like, I hear your other line. Do you need to attend to that?
It shows that you're present and considerate of their situation.
Exactly. It makes them feel like you're truly engaged in the conversation despite any distractions.
It's like saying you are more important than whatever else is going on.
Now, what about those dreaded gatekeepers, the secretaries and assistants who often stand between you and the person you're trying to reach?
Ugh, gatekeepers can be so frustrating.
Lowndes suggests the name dropper technique.
Name dropper. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Instead of just stating your name and request, casually mention someone you know who's close to the person you're trying to reach.
Oh, so it's like subtly implying that you're part of their inner circle.
Exactly. And Lowndes suggests dropping the name early in the conversation, almost as an afterthought. It's like you're saying, oh, by the way, I happen to know so-and-so.
It's a brilliant way to bypass those initial barriers.
Now with all these incredible techniques, how do we even remember them all?
Lowndes emphasizes the importance of practice. Repetition is key. She even suggests recording yourself to analyze your communication patterns.
Recording myself, that sounds a bit intense.
She calls it instant replay. It's about using a tape recorder to capture your conversations so you can listen back and identify areas for improvement.
Oh.
It's not about being hypercritical. It's about becoming more aware of your habits and refining your skills.
So after diving deep into all these techniques and strategies, what's Lowndes' ultimate message?
She believes that mastering these small techniques can transform our lives.
Yeah.
They can unlock greater success in our relationships, our careers, every aspect of our lives.
It's about recognizing the power we all have to connect and communicate more effectively.
And she challenges us to not just read this book, but to actually put these techniques into practice. Become students of communication, observe, experiment, and refine your approach over time.
Speaking of experimenting, do you think these techniques work differently in different cultures?
That's a great question. It's like she's given us a universal language of connection, but it's up to us to adapt it to the specific contexts of our lives.
It makes you realize that communication is this dynamic, ever-evolving skill that we can continuously refine and master throughout our lives.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, before we wrap up this part, Lowndes has a whole section on navigating tricky social situations, those moments that can leave us feeling awkward or unsure how to respond.
Oh, like what to do when someone makes a faux pas or how to handle a confrontation gracefully.
Exactly. She starts by highlighting a key difference between those who exude confidence and those who don't.
Okay.
It's all about how they react to other people's blunders.
Oh, we've all witnessed some cringeworthy moments.
Lowndes argues that truly confident people have a knack for overlooking those minor slip-ups.
Yeah.
She calls it, see no bloopers, hear no bloopers.
So it's about giving people a free pass, not making a big deal out of every little mistake.
Exactly. It puts people at ease and makes you seem more confident and gracious.
I like that.
It's like you're saying, hey, we all mess up sometimes. No big deal.
Now, alongside overlooking blunders, she offers a technique for rescuing someone whose story has been interrupted.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
You lose your train of thought completely.
It can be so jarring. Lowndes calls this technique lend a helping tongue.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine someone is telling a story and they get interrupted. When the interruption is over, they often feel awkward about picking up where they left off.
So they just abandon the story altogether.
Sometimes that's where you come in. Gently prompt them to continue with something like, now where were we? Or please tell me more about...
It's like you're helping them get back on track.
And it shows you are truly listening and that you value their story.
It's a small gesture, but it can make a big difference.
Now, Lowndes also tackles the dreaded confrontation. She offers some insightful advice for approaching these situations with grace and effectiveness.
Confrontations. I try to avoid those at all costs.
I think we all do. But Lowndes argues that they're sometimes necessary, especially in a professional context.
Okay, like when?
Like when someone isn't pulling their weight on a project or when there's a conflict that needs to be addressed.
Right.
But she emphasizes choosing your battles wisely.
So it's not about nitpicking every little thing.
Not at all. Reserve confrontations for issues that truly matter, things impacting your work or well-being.
Okay.
And when you do confront someone, do it respectfully and constructively. Focus on finding solutions, not placing blame.
She actually outlines a 3-step process for handling confrontations effectively.
Oh, I need this in my life.
First, state the problem clearly and concisely. Be direct, but not accusatory.
Got it. What's next?
Then, express how the problem is affecting you. Share the impact without blaming.
Okay.
And finally, offer a solution. It's about approaching the situation with a problem-solving mindset, not an attack and defend mentality.
It's a brilliant formula. It takes the emotion out of it and helps everyone focus on finding a resolution.
Okay, we've covered blunders, rescuing stories, and even confrontations.
It's like Lowndes has equipped us with a whole arsenal of social survival skills.
She really has.
Yeah.
But she doesn't stop there. She also emphasizes the importance of reading the room and picking up on those unspoken social cues.
Yes.
Knowing when to approach someone and when to give them space.
Exactly. She calls it parties are for prouder.
Parties are for prouder. What does that even mean?
It's about recognizing that social gatherings aren't the time or place for serious discussions or confrontations.
Okay.
Keep it light focus on mingling and making connections.
Parties are for building rapport, not burning bridges.
Right. And she also talks about respecting Safe havens, those places where people feel most vulnerable and shouldn't be approached with business or personal matters.
Like the grocery store checkout line or the bathroom.
Exactly.
You definitely don't want to launch into a business pitch while someone is waiting for the rest.
It's about being mindful of the other person's space and respecting their privacy.
Lowndes has all these techniques for communicating effectively,
Right.
but she also stresses using this power for good.
It's like the saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
She even dedicates a section to turning someone's anger around.
Now that's a superpower I could definitely use.
It's called the lemon squeezer technique.
Lemon squeezer. That sounds a bit painful.
Imagine someone is angry with you and they're venting their frustration.
Okay.
Instead of getting defensive or arguing, use the lemon squeezer to diffuse the situation.
Okay, tell me how it works.
You acknowledge their anger, empathize with their feelings, and then shift the focus to finding a solution.
Okay.
It's like you're squeezing all the negativity out of the situation and replacing it with a more constructive approach.
So you're validating their feelings, but not letting their anger control the interaction.
Exactly. She shares this great story about a woman who was furious with LL Bean because her boyfriend ripped his new pants on a date.
Oh no, that's every new outfit wearer's nightmare.
She called LL Bean to complain, and the customer service agent listened patiently to her rant. Instead of getting defensive, the agent simply said, "Oh, that's terrible. Your boyfriend must have felt awful."
It's such a simple but brilliant response.
Right. By acknowledging the woman's anger and expressing empathy for her boyfriend, the agent totally diffused the situation.
Wow.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to handle anger is to meet it with understanding and then gently guide the conversation towards a resolution.
Now, alongside handling anger, Lowndes also offers a technique for trapping a rat with class.
Trapping a rat with class. That sounds intriguing.
Think of it as a way to deal with people who try to take advantage of you or treat you poorly.
Oh, we've all encountered those rats at some point.
Lowndes argues that truly successful people don't stoop to their level.
Yeah.
They handle these situations with grace and intelligence, setting clear boundaries without resorting to pettiness.
So it's about maintaining your composure and dignity even when dealing with someone who's behaving badly.
Exactly. She shares this incredible story about Lady Stephanie of England, who caught a thief red-handed at one of her parties.
Oh my, what did she do?
Instead of calling the police or making a scene, she simply said to the thief, "I do hope you'll join us for dinner, but I'm afraid you'll have to leave your bag in the cloakroom."
Wow, that's so clever.
Yeah.
She totally outsmarted him without causing a scene.
The thief, realizing he'd been caught, quietly slipped away.
That's amazing.
It's a brilliant example of handling a difficult situation with grace and intelligence.
I'm always looking for ways to improve my customer service experiences. Does Lowndes offer any tips for getting exceptional service?
She does. She calls it the buttercup technique.
Buttercup.
Okay.
Picturing fields of flowers.
Not quite. Buttercup refers to writing a complimentary letter to someone's boss.
Ah, so it's about praising someone for a job well done.
Exactly. Lowndes argues it's one of the most effective ways to ensure exceptional service in the future.
Oh.
It's like you're creating a positive feedback loop.
She even provides a template for a buttercup letter. I'm definitely keeping that in mind next time I receive stellar service. Now, we've talked a lot about one-on-one communication.
Yeah.
What about making an impression in group settings? Those can be tricky to navigate.
Group dynamics can be a whole different ballgame.
Lowndes has a technique for leading the listeners.
Leading the listeners. Tell me more.
Imagine a meeting where the speaker finishes and there's this awkward silence before anyone claps. Be the first to applaud or offer praise.
So it's about setting the tone and showing appreciation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It signals to the speaker and the group that you were engaged and you valued their message.
And it sets you apart as someone who's confident and appreciative.
Now, even when you're not the one speaking, Lowndes stresses the importance of being an enthusiastic listener.
Okay.
It's not just about waiting your turn to talk.
So it's about being present, actively listening, and giving whoever is speaking your full attention.
Exactly. She calls this the rubber band technique.
The rubber band. I'm going to need a visual for this one.
Think of it this way. When you stretch a rubber band, it snaps back with force. That's what you want to do in conversations.
Okay.
When someone is speaking mentally, stretch that rubber band. Focus intensely on what they're saying. Then snap back with an enthusiastic response.
Oh, I like it.
It creates a dynamic and engaging interaction.
It does.
Now, here's one we can all relate to: remembering names. I'm terrible with names. This is my kryptonite.
Oh, me too. It can be so awkward forgetting someone's name 2 minutes after you've been introduced.
Lowndes offers a technique called eavesdropping for names.
Okay.
It's not as shady as it sounds.
Good.
It's about using context clues to help you remember someone's name.
Okay.
When you meet someone, pay attention to details, what they're wearing, who they're wearing, with anything they say that might give you a memory hook.
So it's about creating a mental snapshot that includes their name and any other relevant detail.
Exactly. Later, when you see them again, you can recall those details to jog your memory.
It's like building a mental filing system for names. So we've covered everything from handling blunders to leading the listeners to remembering names.
Right.
It's like Lowndes has given us a masterclass in social intelligence.
She really has.
Yeah.
And what's so remarkable is that these techniques aren't about manipulation or trickery.
Right.
They're about using the power of communication to create genuine connections and build meaningful relationships.
It's about putting people at ease, making them feel valued, and creating a more positive experience for everyone involved. So throughout this book, Lowndes weaves in these fascinating stories about celebrities and historical figures.
Oh, yeah.
It really brings the concepts to life. One that stuck with me was about Sydney Biddlebarrows, the infamous Mayflower Madam.
Ah, yes, the Mayflower Madam. She was a high society madam who ran a very discreet escort service in New York City.
And despite her unconventional profession,
Right.
she was known for her incredible social skills and ability to connect with people from all walks of life.
So what's the communication takeaway from the Mayflower Madam?
Well, Lowndes interviewed Barrows for an article and was struck by her emphasis on staying informed about current events. Remember the latest news technique?
Oh, it all comes back to that.
Yeah, Barrows believed that being knowledgeable about current events was essential for making conversation and building rapport, especially with her clients.
It shows that you're engaged with the world, not just stuck in your own bubble.
Exactly. It makes you a more interesting and well-rounded conversationalist.
It's amazing how we can find communication wisdom in the most unexpected places.
Now, alongside staying informed, Lowndes emphasizes understanding the nuances of language, particularly when it comes to different professions and industries.
It's like every field has its own secret code.
She calls it gobbledygook, those insider terms and jargon that can make outsiders feel completely lost.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah.
You're nodding along, pretending to understand, but secretly feeling like you're in a foreign film without subtitles.
Lowndes suggests taking the time to learn a few key phrases related to someone's profession.
Oh.
It instantly makes them feel like you're on the same wavelength.
It shows respect for their expertise and genuine interest in what they do.
It could be as simple as asking someone in a particular field, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? Or what's the most exciting development happening in your industry?
It's like you're cracking the code to their world.
And it opens up a whole new level of conversation.
Now, one thing that sets Lowndes' approach apart is her emphasis on authenticity.
Totally.
She's not advocating for manipulation or pretending to be someone you're not.
It's not about putting on a fake persona or forcing yourself to be interested in things you're not.
No, these techniques are simply tools to help you communicate more effectively.
Right. It's like she's saying, here's how to amplify your best self, not erase it.
Exactly.
And by practicing these techniques and integrating them into our daily lives, we can become more confident and skillful communicators.
Yeah.
These techniques can help us build stronger relationships, make a more positive impact, and navigate the complexities of human interaction with more grace and confidence.
As we've seen throughout this deep dive, communication is about so much more than just the words we say.
It's true.
It's the way we listen, the way we use our bodies, the way we make others feel.
It's about being mindful, intentional, and authentic in all our interactions.
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Leil Lowndes' How to Talk to Anyone.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground, explored a wide range of techniques, and hopefully sparked some inspiration for you to level up your own communication skills.
Remember, it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about being present, being curious, and always striving to connect with others in a genuine and meaningful way.
This book is a treasure trove of insights. We encourage you to check it out for yourself and discover how these little tricks can lead to big success in all areas of your life.
So go forth and communicate.
Yes.
Make those connections, build those bridges, and let your words and actions create a more positive and enjoyable world for everyone.